People get mad at you. Tell them, look, I run the wings. The store is made or make or break without me. You don't mess with me. You the man that makes the wings. If I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and the waitress was selling something to the wing guy, I go back there and be like, hey, baby girl, I know you look good now, but can you stop talking to the wing dude, because he's making my jalapeno mango infused wings and he's really good at doing them. But if you keep talking to him that way, he gonna fuck him up. So you just need a scat. Just do that double click.
I almost threw a drumstick at her ass.
Don't do that, man. That's a waste of chicken.
I almost threw a drumstick.
You know those wing drumsticks at fucking Buffalo Wild Wings? All right, the size of your face. Do you have a lot of Buffalo Wild Wings out where you're at, Savius?
Huh?
Do you have a lot of them?
I don't know. I don't look for them. There's one. I've actually never been in there, so
you need to
all
go.
I know is
what is it? Is it like Hooters?
Everything.
It's Hooters on the next level, but it's It's like I guess with less titties in your face, more emphasis on the wings.
Our food.
Well,
is
I mean,
amazing.
I'd rather have the Hooters. So.
Oh, son, our food is amazing.
I'm not worried about the. I'm
not getting sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings by saying this, but the food is literally crack.
That's
like
cool.
These niggas have me sprinkle crack on the food so you can be addicted
How good do
to
the
it.
ladies look though? That's my concern.
Oh, the girls are. I mean, majority of the girls are cute.
He said majority.
I'll go into Buffalo Wild Wings for lunch next time.
It's surprising because I work with a bunch of white girls and they all have nice asses. They all have.
Somebody's gonna be listening to this on the RSS feed for the fucking show at work and be like, "Yeah, I like the masses." He's gonna be sweeping up, doing some shit. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, that's right."
Have you set that up?
I'm almost done. I'll probably have it done by next week, and I'll upload all the episodes on there.
Okay.
Strip all the audio so people can listen to this on the RSS feed on their phone app. Because some of the people I talk to say they love to listen to the show, but on their phone, on YouTube, it keeps the phone illuminated and people can tell what they're doing. Yeah. At least if you had an RSS feed, they can listen to it and the screen's off, or at least they can put it in the holster belt and no one's going to be saying anything. You know how that goes. But anyways, go ahead, Savis.
Nah, go ahead.
First topic, which I'm going to actually link in the stream, is about a gentleman who is streaming, quote-unquote, 60,000 people with RuneCraft when he gets swatted. Now, RuneScape. Sorry, I fucked it up. I was thinking about Minecraft and RuneScape. I don't know. My big thing is, one thing that's weird is, first, you don't see the swatters actually bust into the house. Because a SWAT team doesn't just... Every time I've seen somebody SWAT, I've seen the police come in.
Oh, hey, listen, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't even... Okay, it ain't about... I've been in it. I've been on the other side. So, I know. You know what I'm saying?
They don't necessarily have to kick down the door?
Man, do they have to?
You used to be a cop?
No, he's dealt with the situation
before.
I'm
talking about on the other side, like from the criminal side. Like,
will they knock or no? I mean, do they knock and bust in?
Nah, I've never, ever, like, in every single one of my experiences, they have always kicked in the door every single time.
And you see he gets up, which is weird. He gets up. Usually they just come into the room. Every other person I've seen swatted, they come into the room.
It depends on where he was, though. It depends on where he was, where his room is. If he's in the basement, you may hear some noise, which I didn't watch the video because I didn't care about that part. You know, my interest was more in just the overall story itself, and then just to talk about the whole swatting thing. Like, I'm not here to question whether or not the dude actually got swatted. I do have some questions, but I just wanted to talk about how lame and how, you know, my big thing was like, this is whack as fuck, period. You know, I thought
most definitely, especially in the state of the events and what's going on.
But, right, so if this really happened to him, right, and again, I'm not questioning whether it did or not. I'm not going to understand him being upset, especially, like, because that's how it is, dude. The cops don't care. They don't care that it's kids in the house, that it's women in the house. They pull guns on everybody because, especially if they get a call about
saying something like I'm killing my family or I'm doing something
like that. Yeah, like whatever these people are falsely reporting, and the punishment for this shit is so weak. You get less time, right? And somebody could die in this situation. You know, in many ways, especially for this, because you're doing it as a prank. If you get caught, you know, they should treat it like it's attempted murder.
My big thing is, how did they get his information to swat him in the first place?
Man, they get a lot of these guys' information. I don't know. I guess it's really easy to get somebody's information off of Twitch if you're a streamer or whatever. I think it's very, very easy. You know.
And somebody just said, in the people who falsely reported has a soundboard of a gunfire when he called in.
At this point, about half a dozen. Spectacular.
So yeah,
and I've never seen them. I've never known them to knock, including one about maybe 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember because you left. Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago. Because when you left, suddenly we wondered what happened, and you said that's what happened. But my big thing is too. They said the guy who also called in soundboarded with a gunshot and stuff like that. I'm just wondering how can these people? How can they call in like that? Like,
have to respond seriously to anything like that.
Even if it's done on the computer?
It can't be a situation where, oh, someone's crying wolf and you ignore it, because then what if it was real?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not one of they don't have that luxury. Somebody calls in something of a potential threat, or like even when a bomb threat at a school, they have to take everything seriously. That's how you shut down a school. Back in the day, people, what they do, they called in bomb threats. Oh, I'm gonna blow up the school. Whether you thought it was serious or not, they had to come in and, hey, we got the day off of school for a fake bomb threat.
They have to have a preventative measure to stop people from just doing this. Otherwise, why wouldn't people be doing?
Nothing that you can do. The only deterrent that they could do is raise the punishment for it. Like, okay, here was a related story about one of the guys who ended up who actually got caught and I guess punished. I think was he prosecuted? And this was like a week before, within a week of this other incident actually happening. It says if convicted, he only faces up to 5 years in prison, bro. They give you more time for like drug-related charges. And the way that these things are playing with, they're sending a fully armed tactical team into people's homes, dude. And any type of situation could be going on.
Combination of wasting the taxpayers' money,
know, right? Because there's a lot of people out there with guns. Like, regular citizens with guns, and you don't know it's even though the police, when they come in, they have to announce themselves, you know. But your reaction is, hey man, what the hell? You know, somebody's coming in my house. You might go for a weapon or something. They see you, they shoot first, ask questions later.
They gun you down.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can have a remote control, a video game controller or something, and they pop off the cuff. We've been talking about the situation where these cops lack training and shit, and that could happen, you know. And then somebody ends up dead or injured behind one of these swatting incidents, and then what? The guy still only gets 5 years in prison? Nah.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You gotta raise that punishment, bro, because that has to be taken way more seriously. You guys punish people for less violent and harmful offenses like drug-related offenses more so than you punish somebody who's playing with the lives of other people. They're risking the lives of the police officers that they're calling. They're risking the lives of people that they're swatting.
Well, and they're also taking away from the possibility that those SWAT members can be used in another situation.
Exactly, and something else that was more serious. You're pulling resources from something that, you know, that really could have needed those resources.
Doesn't it cost like the city like hundreds of thousands of dollars?
I think every time they raid somebody, they put like I think one place or one side they put like a monetary value for like every time somebody you do something or you call something. It costs money, just like ambulance rides or like anywhere between $500 to $1,000 when people come in with a helicopter ride. I remember these hikers called in the helicopter hospital thing with evac, whatever. It wasn't that serious situation. And that shit costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So I can only imagine how much that costs to bring in a full tactical team and stuff like that.
Yo, and to double back, right, to the thing, I do, like I said, I don't know, I still don't question the situation. My question is, the author of this story at Kotaku, and I know a lot of people, you know, it's like, okay, well, it's Kotaku. They're notorious for being kind of crappy writers and everything. But
really,
the title, they do a lot of clickbaiting and stuff with their titles too. But 60,000 viewers watching somebody play RuneScape, I find a hard.
The most I ever seen was 30,000, and he was being view-botted. He was being view-botted.
And here's the thing too, right? Okay, it's like, all right, well, maybe the guy was a big guy, so I looked him up. I always do this with people on Twitch when I don't understand how they have the Twitch following that they have. Right. You know, I'm like, okay, well, maybe he came from YouTube or maybe he came from Vine or something like that. All right, so I check his YouTube. He got 14,000 subscribers. 14,000 YouTube subscribers is not 60,000 Twitch viewers that are going to watch you play RuneScape. You know what I'm saying?
You'd be lucky to get maybe 200 or 300 people.
RuneScape. If 60,000 people are going to watch somebody play RuneScape, it's because they want to watch the streamer. They don't give a shit about the game. They want to watch the streamer. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy, I can't remember his name. He comes from YouTube. He had a huge viewing for what he did. I think it's Syndicate. That's his name. He's like British or something like that. But Syndicate, huge from YouTube. So when he comes and streams on Twitch, he can easily get 40, 50,000 people because they come from YouTube. But you can go check his following. He's massive.
Oh, yes.
Then I go and I was asking you just a second ago, like, how do I find the views, right? This guy's most viewed video is the one of him being swatted. 750,000 views. His page has a total of 850,000.
See, I really think this was like a planted story or something like that.
And he just made this YouTube page in July of last year.
Maybe this was to get him some buzz.
Views,
some attention,
I think so. I really, because he didn't, because every single swatted video I have seen with Twitch streamer, the police are in that room, and what the police do.
Before this incident, this guy was making Clash of Clans videos on YouTube.
Right.
All right. Yeah. I've seen actual
now, I don't know what his views. Now he's got 69,000 followers on Twitch. I don't know if he was already partnered on Twitch. I guess if you have 14,000 subscribers from YouTube, you can probably get partnered from Twitch pretty easily just by saying, hey, this is my YouTube. I got a decent following. You know, give me a sub button. They'd probably do that. I actually didn't check to see what his numbers were before this incident or anything like that. But I just find it really, really hard to believe that, hey man, you had 60,000 people watching you play.
He had 60,000 people for RuneScape.
Yeah,
he wasn't well known before him. His YouTube channel wasn't that big. I really think it was. But what do you feel about that, Random? I think he was doing it for views or just trying to get attention.
To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of swatting videos on YouTube, and these cops.
Don't you always see the cops always get them at the computer, and then what the cop does, they always. They look at the computer and they put down the webcam.
4,000 Twitter followers.
Like, no, but check out. I actually watched the video. It's like the police politely knocked on the fucking door.
On his room door? On his room door?
No, like I think.
But you heard the sound. But you heard the sound.
Yeah.
Did they announce themselves?
No, I didn't even hear none of that. It just cut off.
That's the other thing too, right? How quickly did he come back?
He didn't come back at all in that video. I didn't.
But he came back, I think, later. Like they didn't hold him that long.
That's my whole point. Anytime I've seen somebody swatted, whether it's live or on YouTube, they're gone for like the day, or they're just gone because you're traumatized. You want to get your shit situated. The cops already have to ask them a bunch of questions. They don't just come back. I really think this is some buzz savers because the only people, you know, the guy from the Creatures, they're a big YouTube following and they get 30, 40,000 people when they're streaming. When they got basically like that. Video. Yeah, he got taken down. They had him in cuffs, and he was telling the dude. And there was another guy who did Counter-Strike, and the one guy from Counter-Strike said, "Hey, I got my webcam on," which was he shouldn't have said nothing.
They misreported it. 6K sounds more reasonable, especially with his numbers on YouTube and everything. 6K seems to be more reasonable. I think 6K for RuneScape is. I don't know how big RuneScape is. I know people still play it. But I still find like 6K to be a lot to watch or to see somebody.
All I know is if I get swatted, nigga, I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna be like, don't shoot, can't breathe, I don't have nothing. I'm not reaching for my. I want to try to act like a fool and start hyperventilating so I can get a big viewage.
Here's my bottom line on the situation. Swatting is whack.
Yes, it is. I think we all can agree upon that. Yeah.
But this particular situation, I don't know how legit it was. I don't know how legit this was for this guy. And it's possible that he did it for buzz. Like I said, his YouTube video with the most views is that swatting video. You know what I'm saying? He has 750,000 views behind that video.
Well, we're not saying that RuneScape people can get those amount of viewers, but the RuneScape people that do get those views, you look at their YouTube, they got a big YouTube following, and they've been doing RuneScape for years. That makes sense to me.
This guy's not even a RuneScape player. He plays Clash of Clans. He makes YouTube videos for Clash of Clans. You go to his YouTube, the only RuneScape you're going to see is from the swatting incident. Before then, it is all Clash of Clans.
Well, let's add a little bit into this
conversation.
conversation.
Have a lot of videos on here.
How do you guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you think people are for desperate for blowing up on Twitch TV or
to do it for buzz?
How do you, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think people are kind of at a 7, 7.5 to just try to get stuff out there, in all honesty.
I mean, I say an 8. Look at all the female streamers out here.
And not them in this.
Right now has a total of 8,000 viewers.
Right.
That's between everybody that's streaming the game. The biggest RuneScape stream right now has 1,900 viewers.
That's crazy.
6K, as I said, it's still really, really hard for me to believe in that situation.
I kind of feel like a lot of people are doing stuff to try to get ahead, whether it's either view botting or if it's basically just trying to do things like that, or trolling and different and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of them do. But my big thing is just, I mean, it just seems like it's getting worse. If people, I think the whole swatting thing was lame, but I think in that situation it just looks really weird because every time I seen somebody swatted, they actually had police come in at their computer screen. And I just hope this is not a reoccurring trend for the swatters, but I hope people don't start playing with this and making it in the game just to get views and shit, because that is pretty lame, I think.
Somebody gonna play around and get shot.
Loomis confirms the incident. I still have questions about it. That's just personal, man. I still have questions about it.
Man, I think everybody's finna get a pay cut.
I just think it's a little weird. Let me see here. Let's take a sip of my coffee. And this is going to roll into our next topic that we're talking about. We're talking about the next one where basically the young man, he looks so bad too. If you, here, I'll put the link inside the stream. This guy looks like he looks like he's like an uncircumcised penis with like a little bit of fuzz hair. That's how he looks like, or not uncircumcised penis. We'll say circumcised, but it could have been a lot better.
I mean, he does look like he dwelled in his basement and never go outside.
He needs to fix his beard, man. Like, his beard's not even lined up. Look at his chin beard. The radius is tight. It's supposed to be one nice strip of line, man. It's like, well, anyways. Alleged swatting prankster Fame God arrested in Las Vegas. And I'll just read real quick. A 19-year-old Las Vegas teen is expected to appear in court on Monday. Man. I know. They got niggas like that everywhere. I step over them. That's the nigga I step over in the art. Just like, ugh, nigga, fix your beard. And I just keep walking. You look like an uncircumcised penis. Days after being arrested and connected to a July swatting incident in suburban Illinois, Brendan Wilson, who goes by online handle Fame God, was arrested Thursday in Nevada and faces an extradition hearing to determine whether he should be sent, face hacking, and other charges. Illinois prosecutors said that there was evidence on computers about the July 10th swatting incident, in which he allegedly reported a murder to the Naperville's emergency 911 line. The SWAT team responded, but the call was a hoax. And this is, I know Savins was talking pretty much a lot about this, and they said the only maximum thing he could be facing is 5 years, right?
They're charging him with computer tampering, intimidation, and identity theft in Illinois. So the Illinois prosecutor said charges with him faces include, I don't know if they're going to throw anything else in that, but
what's the maximum amount of years?
He faces up to 5 years. That's
which means he won't, and then he'll get parole, and he has no priors, so he won't. He'll get out of it. Especially if they get a good lawyer, he could get probation.
They need to take this very, very seriously.
Well, yeah, because like I said, if it had been you or me, who knows what would have happened, Savis, depending on what the situation is. Like you said, what Savis said it a good way. What if you're sitting in your living room and you have a Wiimote and you're playing with your daughter or something like that, and police come in, they think you have some, they shot a shot, and then accidentally she gets hit or something.
And yours is, you know, it's black or something like that. It's up to the. It's really, really risky. I know people are like, well, you know, but understand, bro.
They shoot first, ask questions later.
Exactly, especially when walking into a situation where they think that there's a dangerous individual who has weapons. They don't play that shit.
And the one where the gentleman just got swatted with the last one we talked about RuneScape, they said that the guy also, when he called in and reported it, he had a soundboard of gunfire, which just makes it worse. So then the computer, because the police officer is a job, he wants to return him to his family, so he's going to be extra cautious and on guard because he doesn't want to risk his life. That's their first priority, is get in there and get out safe.
This honestly needs like federal attention. It has to go federal.
I think this is also a line of the dying of kids who are DDoSing and stuff like that. I noticed like in the UK and also these big companies, when these big companies started getting DDoS, because it used to be just regular users who they started doing very harsh punishments. One of the kids from the Lizard Squad in UK got a big
like
persecution. They did.
My fear of with all this is like them trying to put using this to put restrictions on the internet.
And that's another problem too.
No. That's the internet is not the issue. It's not the internet that's being
but
used.
I can see them trying to use it as a
put it on.
But it'd be stupid to do it. Like,
hey man, there's stupid people out there though.
But there are
any excuse to try to get their gender.
Like, what basis would they have? They're not.
It's like the guys who try to use the video games like as an excuse for reason why the kids kill everything. And that was stupid when they first came out. I think it's possible, or people want to use stuff like that. I don't think it's gonna it's not gonna have any traction to keep going on about that kind of stuff. But
yeah, but like I don't know.
I just can't believe that like they need to take really harsh or stiffer penalties, because you guys know how I feel about internet anonymity. I think a lot of people do a lot of outlandish shit they would never do in real life because
obviously,
you know, I kind of wish, and this is why I kind of wish like we didn't have anonymity on the internet. And I know a lot of people don't like when I say that or think it's radical, because I'm just personally tired. Like the other day, I'll tell you guys a quick story. Savis probably remembers this, and Random remember this. I remember I posted a comment on a YouTube channel that I didn't like the way this guy was showing exploiting guides for the community Diablo 3. And whether it's right or correct or not, it's whatever. But I got about 7 messages, mostly racial and stuff like that, saying the most horrendous things about African-American people, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter, just, you know, being racist, because we use the word nigga. My whole point is this. This guy calls me, actually, hold on. I could actually tell you guys verbatim, and I'll tell you his name because he wants to be on social media like a big man and he wants to say that kind of stuff. This is the funniest thing, right? This is how it goes down. His name is Michael Bird. Okay, if you guys want to check my Facebook out, I have a link there. He basically said, "Stop scumbagging other people YouTubes, you bitch ass jelly nigger cunt, fuck off." Then I messaged him with the reply like, "I'd advise you to be very careful with saying things like this over social media. I have like all the information to your very life, beginning from where you live, and I can make your life very uncomfortable, including for your wife." And I named his wife, Anithia Boyerman, and I don't care about naming her name because he wanted to call me at his name. These are the consequences. Continue what to do, and you'll regret it. And I said, also have a great day. And then he tried to come back and say something. I also have this threat you just made against me. So yeah, I'm like, it's not a threat. I'm just gonna basically expose you for the racist you are to all your friends and stuff. But then after that, he came back and said, I hope you have a great too. I'm sorry, but I did not have to bring you into race into defending my friend. I do greatly apologize. Please, I am so sorry. And then as soon as I threatened him of actually exposing him what he said, because I got the screenshot of his message and I have your name, he backed away. And these are the kind of people that we're dealing with, the same people who like to swap people, the same people who like to use their internet anonymity. And I just wish to a certain extent, something, like Savia said, and it's just harsher penalties. I mean, we all can agree, right? Harsher penalties, right? To stop people from doing this shit? Like, make an example out of somebody? Yeah. Like, the one kid who lost his license until he's 55, and he had, like, a 4-year, he had to do 4 years in jail, but I think the lawyer got it down to, like, 2 years because he killed a girl while he was drunk driving. Or something. No, I don't think he was drunk driving, but I think he was driving, he didn't have his license, he lost control of the car, killed a woman. And that never brings the woman back, but the parents were upset because, like, he can't drive, he can't have this, and took this away. That's just like the boy who ended up getting 15 years. I do believe he didn't kill anybody, but I think the same thing. He hit somebody while he was in the car, hit a pregnant mother, she died, and the baby died. Kid got 10 to 15, parole chance at 5. And the mother was really angry that they gave him so many years because they tried him as an adult because he was 17. It's like, do you guys think it's just people don't want to be accountable for their actions? Or do you think, like, I don't understand that. I don't understand why society, we have harsher penalties for one thing, but we don't have harsher penalties for things that also make common sense, right? Because Savius was talking about that. Drugs will get you so long, and then other situations which are just as bad, right, Savius, where it involves somebody losing their life, it doesn't deem as much as punishment. Why do you think that is?
In a lot of cases, parents don't really, it's hard for a parent to ever see their child as deserving of any type of punishment. Mm-hmm. They'll always look at it and see that, hey, that's a little harsh. He's a young kid. Yeah, he's 17. He killed 2 people, sweetheart. Yeah. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, you know, you say, well, you're ruining a young boy's life. He took 2 other people's lives. There's a child that would never grow up because of this kid. You know, be happy that he's actually going to get out of jail and continue to live. You know, he has to live with that guilt and he has to deal with the punishment. You know what I'm saying? You may feel like it's excessive. Jail sentences in general, in a lot of cases, seem excessive to me, but that's because they don't focus on the prison system. Is about making money, but that's a whole other thing. They don't focus on rehabilitation.
No, they don't.
It's more about imprisonment and cheap labor and all this other stuff. But again, like I said, that's an entirely different story. But yeah, I mean, parents just don't want to see their children as deserving of the punishments that they get. They always are going to look at it and be like, well, that's a little too harsh. You know,
and I do agree with that too. It
people,
seems like that trend is going on and stuff like that. Well,
but
I mean,
in that particular case, like, he was irresponsible. His actions cost 2 other people, you know, their lives. You know, and I keep saying 2 people because a woman, she's pregnant, that's 2 people. If you go out and you murder a pregnant woman, that's double homicide.
Exactly.
And
it's just crazy to me because it always seems in the cases of these young kids or anything that's not involving any type of sexual charge, drug charge, or straight up murder, it just seems like when it's in a situation where it can be that gray line between, okay, well, you swatted somebody and they could have ended up potentially dying, or
for that,
somebody
that
who's
only
drunk driving or
5
something.
Years
yeah, that's pretty bad.
For what he does, like, that's nothing, man.
Well, I mean, if they were to even just do it to the point where you get an automatic 10 years, and then after maybe at the court residing, maybe you make him do 5 years, he does parole and gets out at 5. But, you know, at least it's still the fear.
I would find a way to find the harshest punishment possible. Here's the thing, for me, with swatting's attempted murder, period. You're using a SWAT team to potentially assault and potentially murder a victim. You think it's a joke, you think it's funny, you know, but the fact of the matter is, you are putting this guy as well as multiple other people in trouble. So let's say you SWAT, and there's 16 people at my house at the time.
Right.
You get charged with 16 counts of attempted murder.
Oh, well, yeah, I can see.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, how do you feel, Randall? Do you think?
Like, we'll say, okay, well, let's 16 counts of attempted murder, 16 counts of armed criminal action. You know, like, we just stack it. We just stack it, bruh.
How do you feel about it, Ram? Do you think the punishments being more harsh would deter a lot of people? I know you stay in Florida, and a lot of the same things kind of go down in Florida. So with like, they get away with
a lot of bullshit down there.
Down in Florida with the stand your ground and different things like that. Do you think the harsher penalties would actually deter people from doing stuff, or do you think it's still going to happen?
I feel like it's still going to happen, and your race is going to play a factor.
That's true. Well, I could definitely agree with the harsher penalties. I'm on board for that because it's like I said, maybe if they just make the punishment so harsh, maybe people will just be too scared in the first place to do it.
I mean,
they need to go ahead and separate Florida from the rest of the United States.
I agree with that.
I'm sorry for anybody who lives in Florida, but that state is awful, and I have no desire to ever visit Florida ever. I'm sorry if you live there.
Miami is nice though with the women.
Well, that's where the money is in it. But the funny thing is, the coldest thing about Florida, I heard.
I wouldn't go to Florida.
I don't know if you guys know this. But out of the money that circulates in Florida, like certain traces of amount of drugs or cocaine can be found on the actual dollar bills, like a certain percentage. That's how real it is down there. But so basically, long story short, for the whole swatting incidents and also incidents where basically you usually get like a slap off the wrist, like, and I'll even put in like, when somebody does like, driving under the influence and they end up killing somebody, or basically the things that are not borderline, the 3 major ones, which are, like I said, sex crimes, drug crimes, and murder crimes, like big time murder involving like violence and gangs and shit like that. It seems like anything outside of that can be met with like a slap on the wrist, and I think for the most part, at least towards SWAT, we all can agree harsher punishments and taking it very seriously should be the minimum, right? Yeah. I think so. I mean, because it's like there's really no way around it. I mean, because it's getting really silly. And this kid looks like the kind of kid that looks like an asshole, too, as I look at this. But he just looks like an asshole. Like he would be talking all that shit online.
The kid's probably also got some social some disorders, man. There's a lot of that going around these days. He's 19 years old. He doesn't understand social norms and stuff. He has problems. He's going to need some counseling. But he definitely deserves to do... it is and it isn't. It is and it isn't. Here's the thing, right? If you don't understand social norms, right? A lot of that, it's like you're a borderline sociopath because you find it difficult to understand the difference between right from wrong. So that's actually a legit thing. You may think that what you're doing actually is okay, and you can't understand why anybody would consider that to be so harmful.
Yeah, and that's actually very true because some people, like, if they try to give a lie detector to somebody who's a schizophrenic or it's basically somebody who, like, believes what they did is not wrong or the perception of what they... It all comes down to what's your perception of what is right and wrong, and your perception might be totally in disarray compared to what society is basically, you know, general consensus that basically says this is not acceptable in our society. You might think it's totally normal, you know.
There's always a way. Unless these guys are using some really, really high-tech stuff, there's always a way to trace a call and find out where it came from, even after the fact.
You think so? Even if they use a VPN and they're smart? Well, these kids are not smart.
There are ways to trace calls, because especially depending on the service that you're using. Now, if you go out and you use like a payphone, you know, and things of that nature, and like payphone that has like very little surveillance on it and stuff like that. But if you're using a cell phone, cell phones use even those use cell towers. Yeah, burners are good. It's a throwaway. But even that can be traced.
Yeah, I saw that on The Wire.
Yeah,
they traced him.
Like we can find out, like, oh well, he's by okay. Well, we can't get a tap on the phone, or we can't do this, but they can trace where you purchased it. And if the place you purchased it from has surveillance, they can find out that you bought that burner phone and put two and two together. I mean, it takes a lot of resources and everything, but
and then by that time, they'll get your ass.
Just
they'll
looking
get you
at it
really
like,
bad,
oh, you know, I do agree they need to catch these people, but you know,
well,
it's not as easy as you think it is to be anonymous on the internet. It's actually much more difficult than people believe it is. It is very easy to find out who someone is if you really want to.
And that's very true. And all that different stuff.
If the government wants your ass, they'll get you.
Yeah, especially if you're raising hell and causing problems. All right, so that was the first section. The next subject. Oh, I know Saber's gonna be interested in this. I'm actually interested in myself. Now, we all like League of Legends. We all play it. Except for Random, he don't play rank, but that's okay. We don't discriminate him. But we all know what the LCS is, right? And we all know the EU teams. Here's a good one that Saber's picked out. Team Meet Your Makers, MYM. We know this, a long prestigious. We all know Meet Your Makers was way before League of Legends, and they had other stuff, Counter-Strike, StarCraft, so they've been around. And they, you know, player tries to leave team over concerns with management, leading to manager threatening player's mother. How do you guys feel about that? I can't believe. That's kind of funny. I mean, I could say one thing threatening the player, but threatening somebody's family members, that basically automatically has bad blood, right?
Anybody who follows League is familiar with the story already. And, you know, anybody that follows League is already familiar with this story. And they know that it has played itself out. I guess to its ultimate conclusion. It ended, long story short, the manager involved lost his job.
Okay, also there was guilt then.
Meet Your Makers was also fined, I think $5,000 by 5,000 euros, which is closer
a lot
to
more money.
I think $6,000 or some shit like that. By Riot. And not only was the manager fired, he was also banned indefinitely from the LCS as a manager and any other team position. He can no longer participate in organized league. Period. He's done. You know, this guy, for whatever reason, their mid laner was unhappy with the situation. And he was looking into alternatives. He wanted to leave the team, and he discussed this with his manager. The manager, you know, didn't take it too well, and the mid laner had the presence of mind to record the conversation. And in the conversation, you can hear like the manager getting really upset. He's like hitting the wall and stuff like that. And then he talks about since the guy's mother signed the contract, that MYM would stand to lose like 50 grand replacing him. And that if that went down, they would make sure that he would make sure that his mother lost the house since she signed the contract for him. This brings up a really like a much, like there's some, and then ultimately like the CEO or the team owner is like, you know, well, I didn't know what was going on and everything, but you know, he does the standard PR thing, which It is what it is. He tried to do damage control. He talked to the manager, which is, I have no idea how they got these logs, these chat logs between the two of them. But, you know, he's basically telling them to be quiet. Listen, man, don't talk to nobody. Don't talk to your friends. Don't talk to your family about it. Just stay silent. You know, and, like, they really, really were trying to just do damage control. Because he ultimately, and it's understandable, he wanted to protect his brand. He really wasn't concerned about the manager, which he shouldn't be. The manager was a scumbag.
Do you know the name of the mid laner of Meet Your Makers, who it was?
Corey. I don't know his real name, but if you follow the link in the story, they should have all the names posted. But the mid laner's his gamer tag or whatever is Corey, Kori. And again, he was playing for them this week, so he's still on the team. They're trying to work out some sort of thing, but this goes into a bigger issue, especially about young players and player representation in esports and the handling of contracts and all of this thing. These guys need lawyers, man. These guys need lawyers.
Do you think it's, well, yeah, I actually have to say that they kind of have to do, or maybe do you think the team should be required? Well, do you think they should have to get individual lawyers yourself, or do you think they should have a team lawyer from Riot who handles all that?
Okay, the team is gonna, and Riot does help the players with things like this. They do have a legal team, but the players themselves should retain counsel. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This is a sports contract. There's big money involved here. Make sure that you have the freedom. Understand what your rights are. Negotiate these terms. You know, if he's too young, what did his mother do? You know, does the contract actually work out to the point, you know, did he really sign a contract, or did she really sign a contract that said that, hey, man, if you renege on this, we can take your house? How does that even work? Was that a real threat? You know,
it just seems like I don't think they could have took his house. Maybe he just said that under anger, but it still wasn't the correct thing to say and do what he did.
We haven't. I don't think we've seen the contract. I would love to see the contract.
Do you think we haven't gotten to a point where they're going to actually have to start, like, maybe making like a standardized way to get these players indoctrinated into these teams and make it like a legal setup way where it protects the players and the team?
Here's the thing, right? And Hobbit says the thing about them being of age. You have to be at least 17, I think, to participate. I know it was at least Worlds you have to be 17 for, but I think now you have to be 17 to participate in the LCS. I remember Pole Belter couldn't play for a long time because Pole Belter was like 14. You know, and then when he finally got old enough, that's when he was finally actually able to play. Because I think Pole Belter was on Curse or something for ages, but he wasn't old enough to actually be their mid laner, so they couldn't use him.
Right.
And when he finally got old enough, I think he got into LCS with like EG or something like that.
Okay.
But you look at Dota 2, and I was just reading the story about Dota 2. The Dota 2 Asian Championships were, what was it, EG, Evil Geniuses won. They had a 15-year-old on that team, and he won a portion of a $1.2 million prize pool. You know, and again, I hope he had a lawyer. I hope he has a good lawyer. Recently, they actually announced there was, I don't know if it was some sports agency or something like that, that was actually getting into esports to representing these players.
But, and if all this money is getting so serious, I think this is something that maybe Riot needs to look into, like a certain manner of just how they do business and how they handle things. Because in the future, because this is just going to get worse and worse and worse as the money pool gets bigger.
Tries to do what they can to help protect the players.
Right.
They have been, but ultimately, and this is, Riot should suggest this to everybody and every player. If you're looking to play pro esports, if nobody else is going to tell you this, I'm going to tell you this: get a lawyer. Somebody puts a contract before you. I don't care if your mama is signing a contract. Get a lawyer to help counsel your mother. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that everything is right about that contract. How long am I locked into the team for? What's my wages gonna be? What type of guarantees do I get in this situation? What's my responsibilities to the team if I sign this contract? You know, how am I gonna, like, what freedom do I have, and what does MYM, what is their responsibility to me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
this is really weird. Do you think a lot of other fiasco things like this happen in other teams? But I mean, basically, it's been proven with some other teams and other Discord of certain players and stuff, right? Where other teams things have been working out, right?
Issues, and there've always been this discussion about legality and players' unions and player rights and stuff like that. You can look over at Korea, why they lost so much talent because they were underplaying their talent, especially for how successful many of those players were. That's why the entire Samsung team more or less disbanded, and they lost all their players because they immediately
they're the worst team in their league now, which is pretty funny. I remember you were talking about that. They're like they're at the bottom.
New team.
Yep.
Nobody stayed.
Well, I guess it just goes to show you the greed of which some companies or things, certain teams like to do things even without thinking. They never seem to think about the long term, especially if you have a winning team or you have pretty good solid players.
Like Faker gets paid well. They treat
Faker
of course
Faker has to be treated well because he's.
But
Faker.
I wonder how long that's gonna last because Faker and his squad, him and Bengi and the new guys that they have over there, the people that came from T1, was it S? I think SKT T1S. And the other guys that make up the SKT team now, they're not doing so well. And Faker himself is not, being the carry that he used to be. So right. I don't know how long they're going to, value him. But I know Faker, and they wanted to buy Faker. China wanted Faker, So all else fails, SKT might try to hold on him just for his fame, just for his popularity and his name. But I wonder how long his value is going to hold up, in Korea. They have to change something if they want to be competitive. It's still too early to say how big the Chinese purchases, how big of an impact on China and Korea the Chinese purchases are going to have, because we have to make it to Worlds first. We have to see if China actually finally takes a world championship with some of the Koreans that they've imported.
But at least I'll say this with China, even though they have winning championships and stuff like that, it seems like a lot of their players are very happy to play the game and they're happily paid and they're treated well.
Well, they're well paid. They get a lot more freedom in these other regions.
That's no restrictions on their girlfriends and stuff like that. A lot of
Koreans, even some of the more, like some that people would consider to be washed up, like Piglet. You can say, well, Piglet's washed up. Well, Piglet is a former world champion. You can say he's washed up all you want to, but if you say that, then you got to say like Double Lift is washed up and Reckless is washed up. Anybody who hasn't won a championship, that's the one thing you can do. Let's say I'm an NBA player, you know what I'm saying, and you talking all of this about me. You got a ring? I got a ring.
Right.
Where your ring at? That's
like saying LeBron. That's like saying LeBron's terrible.
Have you ever won a title? Then you can't talk. Has your favorite player ever won a title? Then you can't talk. So even though Piglet is not one of the biggest AD carries, you see he made a move. SKT didn't want him. They didn't offer him anything. He got picked up by Curse. He found an opportunity to play in North America. There were a lot of Korean imports. Rainover went to EU. Ryu's over in the EU playing. The former mid laner, I think. Who did Ryu play for? KT? He played with KT Arrows.
Yes, he did.
So a lot of the former Korean talent left.
And they're still very good players.
The best, I think, and most valued ones went to China. I think that is still true. But some other people went to to North America and Europe for, I think, what they thought would be a better or easier path to Worlds.
Right.
But also a better playing environment and higher pay.
And then not the restrictions on you can't have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
other little silly things of that nature.
Like, well, until you win OGN or something like that, you can't have a girlfriend, and just, there was a lot going on in Korea. Yeah, Impact as well. Also, a former world champion picked up by a North American team. Talk about him and how he fares amongst top players and all that stuff. Bottom line, he knows what it's like to win a world title.
Well, let's ask a question.
Nobody else can say that. He knows what it's like to win a world title. He knows what it's like to have an amazing season.
Question to Random and stuff. Random, how do you feel about the whole situation looking on it in? Because you watch a lot of League of Legends and you like a fan, you're like a basically person who just watches stuff from the outside. Do you think like the kind of stipulations or how they handle stuff, the players need to protect it, or do you think maybe they should just be kind of happy for what they got because, not many people get to get in esports, or do you think it's going to get worse before it gets better? How do you feel about it?
I don't think they need to be happy for what they got because they bust their ass. It's get to the point where they are at in the first place. Like, they put hours and hours, serious hours, theory crafting and type of ways to improve, and they got scrim with teams all day. It's like, nah, I don't think that's the case, and I think they do need to protect themselves.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad it's gotten to this point with esports, but esports, especially with league and stuff, there's just so much money now, isn't it, guys? On like the line and stuff.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money in esports overall,
and
you know the great thing about it, there's so many different ways to make it. You've got, if you just want to play cards, you got Hearthstone. You know, you don't like the over the top, you like more 3D stuff, go play Smite. There's good money in Smite. You know, you want something more challenging? Hey, Dota 2 exists. Great money in Dota 2. Amazing.
Do you think this might be a good potential to maybe have like a team of lawyers or maybe a company who handles as a third party that handles these players and stuff?
I can't remember the agency, but there was a big like Hollywood agency or something like that eyeing. I think they either just recently opened up an esports division or something like that. Like, players are going to be able to get serious representation soon. They already can, realistically. There are already lawyers out there. There's a lawyer on Reddit, maybe a bunch of lawyers on Reddit who specialize in like esports law and stuff like that. And so players definitely need to understand that they need to be well represented. A players union, would be great.
I think they do need something like that, because back in the days of StarCraft 2, Boxer was one of the first ones to bring across the players union that said, you're not just only going to pay me, you're going to pay my entire team, and they start getting rights for all the players.
But see, a players union comes to the point where, because obviously without the players, you don't have a game, correct?
Right. This is pretty cool.
So they can sort of come together, and this is just, you know, the whole union deal anyway, collective bargaining and stuff like that. And they come to the table and they meet with the owners and everything. And I don't know who the commissioner of League of Legends would be, but they come to terms. All right, well, this is going to be the base level of pay. You know, even Riot could be argued that Riot underpays the people that they. The LCS players. They
most definitely. They make so much money
concerned.
they can afford to pay all these players pretty decent amounts of salaries.
So the people without heavy sponsorships and the people who don't have a huge stream following, they don't make nearly as like. Let's look at the support players, for instance. People like Xpecial, nowhere near as popular as some of his teammates. Afromoo, for instance, really probably the best player on CLG, to be honest, and very, very integral to their success and everything. I think he's one of their big shot callers as well. I think today he said something like he actually helped pick the roster for this season with Skara, together with Skara. So, but and Afromoo is he's probably not a great example because he actually has a decent following. I think people would love to see Afromoo stream because he's hilarious. He's also a really good player. But even players like that, man, he doesn't have it following like a Bjergsen does. He doesn't have it following like a Double Lift does. I know when Double Lift, even when they do their duo streams, I prefer watching Afromoo to Double Lift. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there who love watching that AD carry for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Double Lift.
But players like that, Afromoo certainly doesn't make as much money as some of his friends. And you know, Lust Boy doesn't make anywhere near as much money as, say, a Bjergsen does or a Wild Turtle does.
But then you think you could argue and say that, well, it's up for that own individual player to market themselves and get themselves out there?
Well, I mean, that is the case, but there also needs to be fair pay. I don't think that they're starving by any means, but I think that Riot could definitely look to give them a raise. But the thing about it, without a players union, who's going to argue that? There's no one representing.
What do you think about maybe Riot working with the teams and getting them like on a regular stream regimen for each individual team and maybe doing something in terms of the stream revenue?
See, I don't think Riot would do that because that's getting into the branding for the the marketing for these individual brands.
Fair enough.
And stuff.
That's very true.
And the players, like you said, are their own brands and they do need to market themselves.
But then do you think it's unfair to consider that to taking some care of somebody's Twitch revenue for their LCS play? I mean, they all need to be paid equally regardless of what they got going on outside.
Well, it's I'm not saying that you take into account
Okay.
That, oh, well, this player is not as successful, for we need to pay him more. I just mean in general that the base pay needs to be and could be a little bit higher.
What do you think would be a good base pay? I think around 30 to 40,000 is fine, or at least 40,000 salary and stuff like that, just to appear in DLCS.
I think at this point,
because they have the money
Riot's
too.
Budget is like, but assuming they could, they don't have a lot of players. And I think you do it, you spread it out amongst each league and whatnot. Obviously, because the money goes to like the teams first, and then the teams are the ones who actually pay the players, right. Which is also very, very odd. Because as far as I guess that's true how it works for all sports, right? The NBA doesn't pay Kobe Bryant. The LA Lakers pay Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
and his
exactly.
owner determines what Kobe Bryant's value is.
They put it on the order of the club, of the team.
I just think like the base pay definitely should be higher. How much has come across in the salary that Riot determined? Like Riot pays them all equally, as far as I know, which is also weird. You know, I don't think that your superstars should get paid less or equal to some of the players who are not. Like I don't feel like a support player like Xpecial should make the same amount of money from Riot as a player like Glebe Glarbu does.
Yeah, I suppose. But then again,
or a Kiwi kid. No offense to anybody who likes those players, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve to get paid. I'm just saying they're not as good as Xpecial. They don't.
I will say that. But the big thing is, Ryan wants to be the representative, or they are the representative of this whole esports thing involving the League of Legends community. They're gonna have to figure out something where they're just saying you're simply getting a paycheck for doing and submitting and doing what you're supposed to do for LCS, showing up on time and being a good representative of the tournament. We're all going to pay you a flat rate of $35,000, $40,000.
Well, like I said, they actually don't pay the players; they pay the teams.
Or the team, yeah, and then the team
Riot
just
pays the organization, and then the organization decides how they're going to pay the players.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty bad then, I think.
Yeah.
They just need to just make it a direct set of money to that player, and if that player
and again, this goes back into the whole players union and negotiating contracts and actually getting,
because the team could be very greedy and take all the money and then not pay the player shit. And
there are things in place, I think, to prevent that, to make sure that that doesn't happen. Players
that's a good
guaranteed to get paid, but and there's actually a minimum, I think, that you have to pay the players as dictated by Riot. But
that's good to know.
I think players could make more money, but I don't think any of them are realistically hurting for anything like. But player representation, there is room for a players union. Before a players union, right now, before anything like that, comes into existence, each individual player needs to get a sports agent and a sports lawyer to help negotiate terms. You have your sports agent to help you go out there and get those brand sponsorships for you. You know what I'm saying? I remember over in Korea, SKT had those fly Nike jackets and those fly Nike shoes.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know if they were shocks or whatever, but they looked like a varsity basketball team or something, dude. And
they look good, and I like that though.
And I never ever. And that's the other thing. A lot of them don't sell their jerseys, man.
And StarCraft community, for a lot of those teams and stuff like that, they do sell the. I mean, those jackets are like $300, but they do sell.
Let's say they sold an Afro Moo jersey, right? Afro Moo should get a portion of that sale.
Oh man, that's a whole nother level of stuff. Because I still believe a lot of the esports stuff and a lot of those individuals are very greedy, man. Like they don't want to do that kind of stuff. If it's gonna grow,
we have to make sure that it grows fairly, man, and that the players.
Oh,
are
and I agree with you. But you already know how they do stuff.
To where we get scumbag managers who are threatening players and stuff like this, and we don't want situations like this Meet Your Maker situation to come up and actually be. Because it's really, really crazy that something like that ever was even a possibility. To have it come across and be like, yeah, man. Because it's crazy. That's crazy.
I just can't believe.
I would love to see that contract, man. How are you going to make his mother lose the house? Is it because you're going to sue him for breach of contract? That's the only thing I can understand. They would sue his mother for breach of contract, and
maybe
she would lose her house
but
because of trying to pay lawyer fees to fight it.
The guy, at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to happen to the kid. I think he'll be able to transfer and go to another team that he wants to be happy with because he really incriminated himself. Once he took it to the level of, threatening his mother.
I don't know if he's an amazing player. He's crazy. Young and he has room to grow, but I think after this controversy, not a lot of teams are going to want to touch him. He was going to move to a challenger team in North America anyway, but I think he's going to struggle and he's going to find it hard to do it. I definitely think he still needs to get away from Meet Your Makers, and they probably don't want him on the team anymore either.
Well, he could also try to go to like one of the new teams or something like that and just try to get a good place, because I think a lot of teams will take him. Maybe not a pro team, I'm saying, but maybe a team that's looking pretty promising. And they said, well, this guy had this situation, we can get him on our team. And then, you never know. That's how Cloud9 started. They came out of nowhere.
Yeah, Cloud9 was a challenger team, but
so I think
back in the day.
Or maybe he can just market himself as a streamer, have a nice couple of thousand of people, and earn this little $3,000 to $4,000 a month if he puts the effort into streaming. I know he probably could be very fully capable of. If you're a halfway decent player in League, you can get the views. Yeah. I mean, even Casey trying to does. I mean, shit. Hell, I think she was doing a Valentine's stream today. 8,000 people. Made me sick, but I mean, that's just how the game is. All right. That was a good discussion. Let me see here. What's the next one? We had another one.
Well, actually, I want to keep it on League.
Oh, well, yeah. If you want to go into the LCS and what's going on, by all means.
Well, I had a segue when I was talking about Faker. And remember before when I told you about it, and this is a short thing, or maybe not. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. But recently, anybody who hangs out on Reddit probably is familiar with this as well. There was a guy running a stream called Spectate Faker or something like that.
Yeah, right? What happened with that?
And Azubu, the site that contracts Faker, issued him a DMCA takedown notice. And I guess they issued it to Twitch. And Twitch closed the guy's channel saying that, hey, man, we got this notice from Azubu. We got to take it down. And, he's trying to reach out to people and find out actually what his rights are in this situation. Hold on, let me post. Actually, I'll post a couple other links. This is
because we were talking about that, but he has to kind of know better that he couldn't be doing that. I mean, he was profiting off somebody else.
GameSpot also did something about it as well. But here's the thing, right? Okay, this is a tricky line, and it goes beyond Twitch and it goes beyond this individual. Now, personally, he would plug like Faker's stream. He did do this apparently. I didn't hang out in the stream long enough because I felt like, man, I was there to hate on him basically because I'm like, yo, Faker streams, man, this is not cool.
And but he streams on Azubu. He doesn't stream on Twitch TV, right?
Right. He streams on Azubu, and Azubu does kind of suck. It would be better. I don't know if they got to deal with hitbox or something.
Something.
But Faker had about 6,000 viewers that day when I looked at it, and the guy had, I don't know, 8K or so. The guy's not partnered by Twitch, but I do not know if he ever received any donations because guess what? He'll say that he didn't. He had no subs.
Oh, okay.
That we know of. I don't know if he had a Patreon page. I don't know if he received private and anonymous donations that he never let anybody know about.
Well, I'll say this,
I know that he had a mission and an intention to monetize that page if he could have. I know he would have gotten partner if he could have, and that would have been him making money off of Faker. I can't prove that he ever did, but again, he realistically didn't do anything that is against any rules anywhere, right? Because here's why. Because Riot allows for anybody to spectate anybody. There's no privacy.
Yeah, that's actually very true. There is no policy. That's very true.
If you're a streamer, right? All right. I'm so and so. I don't know who's a big streamer, whatever. I'm so and so, right? I'm challenger rank 1, and I stream, my games and over here, and I get this many viewers and whatnot. But because of the way the client works, the top 200 challengers or something, you can see them. You can actually spectate those games.
That's very true.
Whereas if you're not a high-ranked player, You know, you can't spectate those games. Like me or you, nobody. Like now, my friends can spectate because they added that. You can spectate the games that your friends spectate.
Right.
But if nobody's on your list, for the most part, before they added that feature, only your friends could spectate your game. You know, so if one of them spectated your game and restreamed it for whatever reason, you could check them about that. Like, hey, don't do that. If you weren't cool with it, you know, especially if you were streaming it yourself. That's the big issue. You know, if Faker
why do you think
didn't
Riot
stream,
allow for those 200 top people to be viewed though? You figure kind of they would want to do it.
They probably look at it like, well, people want to see, they want to see the best players. They want to,
and
see
they want to
play.
think maybe people can learn from these players and stuff. You think that was another initiative too? Like, oh,
Well,
maybe
yeah,
they can learn something
they want to
from
see high-end play and everything. And I know that a spectate feature and replay feature exists like that. But like, okay, you know about StarCraft. How does the replay feature work in StarCraft? Can anybody get
It's personal.
replays?
No one can view your replay. No one can see it. The only person that's going to have a copy of your replay is
but
yourself and your
replays,
opponent. Other people sending in some
replays.
Exactly. So if Idra had a bunch of replays, the only way they can get it is if his opponent made it apparent to everybody and he gave it to somebody else like that. But for the most part, when they do the replays, I think in a lot of tournaments do this. Like when they give out the replays, the tournament will release the replays. The players are not allowed to, and then they, instead of like releasing a replay, they might make a VOD of it and then put it on the internet and have something like that. But they usually take, because it's their tournament, they make the rules, it's in their clauses. But then again, this kind of falls back to the whole thing that League doesn't have any clauses about this. Now, I could agree with this guy, but the only problem I see in the future, what if somebody starts doing it for Dyrus? What if somebody starts doing it for all these different people, for Bitzenberg or whatever, and they started just basically, when those guys go to sleep, they just start streaming all their games, and people start monetizing, and they're not even helping out. Like, I think Faker should get some. That's the only problem. I think Faker should get a cut, or he should at least put some information and work together with them.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? The games, here's Riot are the only ones who can say anything in this situation. Azubu honestly doesn't have a claim. They don't. They don't have a claim on the games that they're saying that they're doing. Like legally, I don't think they'll win this unless the guy just can't afford to battle it. But honestly, I don't think it's an expensive thing to battle. Like realistically, they don't have a claim.
No, they don't.
What he's actually restreaming is Riot Games property.
Yep.
Riot.
Ever since they made it to be able to actually look at that person while they're doing their thing.
They were doing it for a bunch of Korean players, especially during Worlds and everything. There was a guy who was he was streaming all like the pros that were in Korean solo queue and whatnot.
Hold on. And they gonna see me dance, Dark Thief, and that's gonna make me dance, $50 donation, that's what I'm talking about. I can't shake my ass on screen from you like the song says, but I'm shaking it in my seat because I don't want to get banned or nothing like that. But thank you so much, Dark Elf. I'm gonna go ahead and read the contribution real quick while we're on this episode. That's $50. You know what he could have done with $50? You know what $50 can get you in Vegas?
Oh my God, Jailer!
And there goes KZ. Everybody, welcome KZ to the show. A little bit late, but I told you he would come here on a random tote real quick. Let me give him a quick shout out and appreciation for it. What does he put inside the stream tip? Bro, leveling guide is 6. Help tons. I appreciate the effort put forth the community and hope you keeps going. Yes, I will. Thank you so much. That was for the 24-hour Witch Doctor guide that I put out a while back. You guys know about I was working hard on that and stuff. Nigga try to, nigga inside the laboratory with my labor coat yet. And, doing my work on them guys. I'm glad it's finally starting to pay off. But anyways, we were talking about that. Okay, let's think about everybody's personal opinion. KG just came in. Basically, KG, there's, in League how you can view the top 200 challenger people while they're in game, KG?
Yeah.
And you know how Riot made that possible, so if you want to learn the game better, you want to watch a top player, Riot allows that. There's a guy who basically what he did is he looks at Faker. Faker's a top mid person in the world. He's very popular in mid lane for the Koreans. He's very famous in League of Legends. He would view his games, stream them, get thousands of views and stuff like that, and eventually he got taken down from the site that where Faker streams from, which is Asbu Gaming or whatever. Aw, snap! I got another donation, Damn, another $50 donation to make me dance! Yes. And that's gonna make me dance. Man, that's $100. Damn, he got dethroned really quick. They're aggressive today. That's so nice. Well, I'll put this and some. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. I do appreciate the contributions. You guys keep me doing what I'm gonna do. No, shake it, Debo. I can't shake it for free. Watch me make me dance. Long story short, KG, another individual's profiting off the games of somebody else. He's just restreaming, watching the guy play. Do you think he should be allowed to monetize that, even though that Riot Games lets you do that, or you think he should have to pay back? Or how do you guys feel about the thing? I feel that he should try to give some kickback to Faker, and I think they need to revise a couple things, but I don't see nothing wrong with that guy running a channel as long as he kicks money to the player and accommodates him.
He has no legal obligation to Faker because Faker doesn't own what Faker streams. Faker doesn't own those games. He's just a player in it. There's 9 other players in that game. So should they got pay those 9 other players as well? No, because it's not their content. You know, and this is why Faker and Azubu have no claim to what this guy does. I'm defending him now, despite actually not agreeing with what he does. But legally, he is not in the wrong. Because Riot has to be the ones to say, hey, man, that's not cool. But Riot's not going to say that, and they can't say that without being hypocrites because, hey, Riot, it's your spectate feature. That's all he's doing. He's taking your spectate feature. Granted, he's using it through a third-party website because he doesn't have a Korean account, so obviously he can't actually spectate.
Now, I'll say this, too.
Stuff. He's spectating from op.gg.
But the only thing I worried about is what if everybody started doing this to every single player and started basically doing that on Twitch? That would force Twitch's hand or something to actually deal with it. Well,
it would force Riot's hand.
Riot's
can't do anything
Twitch
about it. Like Twitch can't. Okay, here's what it is, right? Twitch would literally have to say, you would have. Here's what it is. I would have to restream your stream for Twitch to have an issue.
Right.
I have to restream your stream. I could spectate your D3 game right now, right? Which is not a thing, but let's say I could. I could spectate your game, and you know, I could spectate your game and commentate. You know, throw my own music.
Well,
and
but
and
that's a difference. Like that's something Day 9 does or something else does, but he's not spectating. He's not doing anything.
Doesn't spectate. He goes over replays.
Well, that's true. But even then, he's not at. Well, how does? Well, what is your opinions on the whole matter, KG, and Randall? We'll do KG first, and we'll do Randall. What do you guys think about the whole thing?
I think that's kind of cheesy that he's making money off of someone else for their play.
Like I said, I don't agree with it, but
I don't.
Well, there's a difference between moral-wise and legal-wise. Morally-wise, I think it's wrong. Legal-wise, he probably doesn't have a case.
Morally, I reported the channel like 12 times, and this was months ago. I stopped trying because they stopped. They weren't shutting any other channels down.
No, they weren't.
Twitch doesn't care. They really don't. They knew this was happening, bruh. But when somebody who actually could maybe threaten them with some sort of legal action by being like Azubu probably is nowhere near the size of Twitch, especially with Twitch being under Amazon now.
Yeah, that's very true.
But they looked at it like, hey, we could potentially lose money. We could potentially have a lawsuit here. This guy's not even worth it. We don't even know him. He's not even a partner. Let's just shut the stream down. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So... But when all of us nobodies were saying, hey, this guy's doing this, and Faker streams at Azubu, Twitch, you guys want to do something about this? No.
Well, my big thing is, if the guy was commentating or bringing something to it, or no, that's what I'm saying. If he was commentating or directing people to Azubu, or maybe saying if you like,
actually linked the Faker stream in his Twitch channel,
and that's good. And then what he could do is maybe open up a donation pool that sends money to Faker directly. I'm pretty sure Faker wouldn't say anything. I'm pretty sure Faker might even work with them. And then maybe he can just take the ad revenue, and Faker takes the donations, and then they split the sub money.
The dude was not making any money that we know of.
Oh, and then if he's not making any money, then let him. As long as he's not monetizing it.
He was not a Twitch partner. He did not have, but he potentially could have been taking private donations. But again, that's just like thinking the worst in the situation. As far as we know publicly, he did not make a dime off of that stream.
Personally, I think this guy is smart.
The stream was partnered at all.
then that's
Personally, I
fucking
think this
normal,
guy's
it's
smart
fine.
because he
You
found a
get it,
loophole
man.
to do something and get
It
famous
wasn't
off.
it wasn't a loophole, and he
Oh,
wasn't the
well.
only person to do it. There were like half a dozen of streams like that. There
People
was
were doing
Spectate Faker. There was Spectate Korean Solo Queue. There was Spectate LCS players in Korean Solo Queue. It's been like straight up. There were like half a dozen of these channels during Worlds, man.
I'm
And
finna
I
start.
like one of them was cool because it's like, all right, well, we don't actually have. He would literally track people like High from Cloud9 or Meteos from Cloud9 and stuff, and there was no other way to access those games. So you appreciated that because that was a service to the public. You know,
But when you
this
start
guy
trying to
feels like
monetize
he's doing
something,
a service to the public, but he's really not because Faker streams his own games. So if Faker is streaming his own games, why are you feeling the need to stream alongside him? Well, I stream replays and I stream games that Faker doesn't stream because he's offline. Well, listen, okay. If you want to stream his stuff at different times when he's not online, cool. But when he's online and you have 8,000 viewers on Twitch and he has 6,000 on Azubu and you really want to support Faker, drop your stream. Hey guys, go watch Faker on Azubu. That's where I'm going to be at. I'll see you in the chat. But no, you're an asshole because you didn't do that.
Okay, I'll say one thing.
So like
let's
I said, legally, he's in his right.
Let's say for all this, we all can agree that this is fucking lame as fuck, right? I think it's lame. KG, you think it's lame?
Yes.
Okay, Random, you think it's lame, right?
Yeah,
but we all can understand that the law is kind of weird, and we all know, especially because we all live in America, we all know how the law works, right? I see what you're saying, Savis. You're playing the devil's advocate in the sense that maybe these companies should have worded things the correct way, Riot should have did something better in their part or something so that the situations like this wouldn't occur, or at least they happen and people know what they can do. It's just but I guess it's just...
Riot is the only person, Riot is the only person who can do anything about this because it's their spectator client that is the source of the problem here.
Do you think they'll ever give an option to top 200 players to maybe say something like, if you guys want to spectate, that's great. If not, then don't worry about it? You think they'll give them the option to disable it?
Here's that whole quote-unquote potential thing again being coming up. You know, we talked about that with the deal with YouTubers and Nintendo and stuff like that. We can't track potential. We don't know how many people are actually going to Azubu from Twitch. Here's the thing. How is he sending potential viewers? Faker didn't go from 6K to 14K. 8,000 people stayed in that Twitch stream to watch those Faker games on that Twitch stream. They didn't go over to Azubu.
That's true. They don't, even though he linked his channel.
You want to know why they didn't go over to Azubu? Because they were already on Twitch and they were already watching the same games. They can't understand Korean, so it's not like they can understand the commentary. You know what I mean? They couldn't see
communicate
Faker
with other people in the chat.
Even though Faker was playing I Want to Be the Bashi and it was hilarious because he was failing, you know, they couldn't see that. Because he's only streaming the league games, and that's all they care about is watching his games. They didn't care about watching Faker and supporting Faker. So you can't track potential viewers, especially when the Twitch stream has more viewers than Faker's actual stream
I will
does.
say this. We all know what happened with the female streamers on Twitch and people like the racist comments for donations like gigs. Do you guys think eventually, if this does start to get out of hand and everybody starts doing it, don't you guys all think that they're gonna eventually do something like it with how like Twitch has already done something about the racist people and also like the girls wearing pasties?
Because the reason for it is this is a very special situation because Faker doesn't stream a lot, you know, and he streams in Korea is really hard for people to access because to play the game you need like a Korean social and all of that stuff.
Right.
You got to get the Korean League client, and so it's very difficult actually to gain access to those games. Faker just happens to be quite possibly the most popular, or at least one of the most popular players in the world, and he also doesn't have a huge stream following of his own. Whereas most other popular players do. Bjergsen has his own stream and he has a huge following. So it's not really a possibility for someone to Yeah, that also would be very, very different if Faker streamed on Twitch as well. You know, I don't think that this spectate Faker guy would exist if Faker streamed on Twitch. But I also think that it's not right for him to say that, hey, I support Faker. I'm posting a link to his stream all the time in my chat while you still maintain your stream for 8K viewers, and Faker only has 6K. Whereas, hey, you're distracting from Faker being live. If Faker's live, you shouldn't be live. If you want to support Faker, you can't say that I'm doing this and I'm supporting Faker. And
how would you feel if he took all the money proceeds and sent it to Faker, like, or sent it to like his organization, like if he did it?
I don't know what proceeds or anything like that. I just would rather you not compete with him. I would rather, like, I don't have a problem with you spectating Faker's games or even streaming his games. I just feel like you shouldn't stream him while his stream is up. Because
so he can get his viewers and stuff like that.
You're competing with him in that sense. You're taking viewers away from him, in my opinion, and that's what it looked like. Because Faker had less viewers than this dude. There were more people watching the fake Faker than the actual real Faker.
Yeah, that's very true. But no one goes to Asbu, though. I think some people try to support
sucks. It does. I didn't hang out there for that long, but I mean, it is what it is, dog. Like, if you want to support the real, then support the real. Don't support a restream.
Right.
And so, legally, like I said, the guy didn't do anything wrong. But the guy's also an asshole. And he's full of shit.
Well, if he I think it's kind of whack how he's trying to seek his legal rights to see if he can monetize it. That's just really weird to me, man. I think Twitch will interview or do something like that. I think it's going to make things interesting if things carry on.
Like, let me see. Like, what was he saying? He says, my stream was not part. Additionally, I was not monetizing the games nor plan to. I was running the stream 100% for fun. I had not planned to ever run ads or do a sub button, donations, etc. My stream was not partnered, no profit made. You know, here's the thing. There it is. Riot allows their players to use their content as long as it's free and open to everyone and follows their guidelines, which my stream did. I never broadcasted any game directly from Azubu, only from op.gg. I understood that. If he directly reached this again, like I was saying, if he directly restreamed from Azubu, then they would have a case, but he didn't. He streamed a public game that was only owned by Riot. You can't claim ownership over something that you don't actually own. They don't own that content because he didn't restream Faker's stream. He only streamed Faker's games. It is a loophole, you know, or whatever, but I mean, that's how it works. So like I said, legally he's not in the wrong, and legally Twitch should give him his channel back. But I also feel like
I don't even think it's gonna happen though. I really don't.
Doing what he does, and it probably won't, because at the end of the day, Twitch can do whatever the fuck they want to, and they don't owe him shit, and you don't own your stream from Twitch.
This is really crazy.
It's theirs. They own the same thing. Like, my Twitch stream has got my name on it, but I don't own that.
Do you guys feel like, I mean, because that adds to the bullshit of what the streams we all been talking about, right? Between the people who are just out there just to make a quick buck, it seems, right? Without doing the actual any type of work. I mean, I started noticing that a lot more. Do you guys think it's getting worse or perpetually worse on Twitch as people start seeing the money people are making? Do you think this is going to keep going in this direction?
With people finding cheesy ways to get viewers and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, if I can find a way to get ahead in life and not really do as much work and make money off other people, why not?
Yeah,
Just
that's kind of a standard thing that exists everywhere, and it's been around for a while, so it's not gonna go anywhere.
I can be a scumbag but make money while being a scumbag? Hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. That's just how people are.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm just speaking from, you know, the scumbag.
Faker doesn't speak English, as far as I know. But honestly, people don't watch Faker for his great personality. They watch the dude for the plays. Like, because you can't talk about it like that. If you're just watching it for the plays, they watched the restream was not English either, because there was no commentary. There was nothing. You know, there wasn't even music. If I remember right, there may have been some music, but I mean, Faker has music too. And he also plays I Want to Be the Bashi and other games and stuff during queue time.
I mean,
hey, they better start sending us some money for I Want to Bashi too.
To be honest with you, I'm just gonna start streaming Savius, KG, and Debo.
Hey,
and get more viewers than them.
You know Twitch has a host feature, right?
My big thing is it's just really weird for this guy to be streaming Faker and then monetizing everything off that player. Even though it's not legally right, I think a lot of players in the community will give him shit and frown upon it, even if Riot doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I think that's one of that's a self-governance thing.
At the support that he got on Reddit, they even gave him Reddit Gold.
I don't understand why people
legally because people hate Azubu. People hate Azubu as the organization. They also hate it as a streaming platform. But legally, he has every right to do what he did. He did nothing wrong legally. But like I said, ethically and morally, he's an asshole. You know, I don't
think
care.
Eventually,
even if he didn't make a dime, he still took away from Faker.
You know, my big thing is, the reason I worry about this, because I can foresee in the future every single player in the LCS or major people on teams are going to have, or people who are in top 200 for Challenger, are going to start, like, not wanting to stream their shit and do that kind of stuff.
Some of them don't stream. I'm finna get big. I'm gonna find some high elo. Hey man, come stream these Challenger games with commentary, and I'm just gonna commentate on a bunch of Challenger games that I'm not playing in because I'm only silver.
I'm gonna be like, look at what this nigga just did. You see this shit, nigga?
Play. Like, right. You know, that's the equivalent. But again, like I said, he didn't do any type of commentary. And even me doing that would be different than what he's doing, because I'm actually doing commentary. And it's a streamer who doesn't stream. I would pick people who didn't stream. Actually, Tractor, that's no longer true. Pretty much every single Kespa team is now under contract with Azubu.tv. So every single Kespa team for League of Legends actually has a streaming block over at Azubu.tv. So all of those players actually do stream.
I'm gonna do it for Macnoon then.
Macnoon is not a Kespa player. He used to play, is he? Now Macnoon was playing, I don't know if he moved back to Korea. You know, he was in A for a minute. He was on a team called Fusion. They failed to make the NALCS.
Stream all his Teemo gameplay. People want to see that.
Hey, Macnoon is hilarious. You know, he streams. I haven't seen this stream in a really long time. I don't know what Macnoon's doing right now.
Didn't he stream on Twitch for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to one stream.
He's hilarious. And he used to clown on Nidalee.
Shit,
they did pick probably the worst partner, though. They really should have brought all of those players over to Twitch. But I guess Azubu offered a better contract. And then I guess they also had a relationship with, you know, because Azubu sponsored like the first season of OGN. They also owned a team over there. Before the CJ teams were CJ Frost and Blaze. They were Azubu Frost and Blaze first, and obviously before that they were MIG Frost and Blaze, I think. But yeah, so they had that long-standing relationship with Azubu, and Azubu's supposedly like a front for a criminal organization or something like that as well. But I don't know. But yeah, man. Bottom line is the dude is legally in the right, but I feel like morally in the wrong. And I don't approve of what he does. I don't agree with him in any way.
I just hope in the future that they start taking this stuff seriously and start putting these little clauses and informational stuff inside to protect people's shit like that, because that's a little silly though.
And I
hope
like
in the future they do.
If he wanted to do that and he wanted to have fun and he still could have had his stream, all he had to do was not stream when Faker streamed. If Faker's stream was down, put your stream up, because you've still got gameplay to show, and you know Faker's like 13 hours ahead of you. You'll still get viewers. So when Faker goes down,
know what?
You go up.
He actually could have even talked to Faker. Maybe just try to communicate to Faker. Hey, Faker.
had to have a translator.
But even if he had like a translator, I'm pretty sure Faker said, so you're going to send me money just to spectate my games in Challenger, and you're going to give me proceeds of the money.
You're absolutely right. That could have been a way to work. But here's the thing. Again, it's not about Faker. It's about Azubu. Faker's not the one claiming this thing, because realistically,
if he would
have, Faker couldn't do that, because again, he does not own the game, and Azubu doesn't own the game.
But and I know he doesn't own the game, and I understand that. I'm just saying though, it's just from a moral standpoint, he could have talked to him and just said, "Look, man." and we could have done it. I'm just saying,
Azubu still might have had the issue here because they would be like, well, we're not getting a piece of that money.
And that's true.
It's like, nigga, where's
but my big thing at the end of the day is just stuff like that is not what Twitch was stood for, and it's getting really sad to the point where people are trying to fight for things like that, and it really takes away from what Twitch is supposed to be.
Have any original content,
because
really.
people are scumbags.
What he streamed was really, really lazy. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna get a little. Somebody's gonna make me an overlay, and I'm just gonna restream a bunch of like some high-level Korean players' games. I'm gonna play my own shitty music, and I'm gonna call it my fucking content. That's what he did. That's his stream, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it was.
Yeah. It's just, I think, like I said, future situations like that, it's like the same thing with speedrunning, right? You guys know Suglimic, he does like a lot of the Super Mario speedruns and stuff like that. There was a guy actually getting 500 to 1,000 viewers just restreaming his runs and shit like that, and streaming other Super Mario runs in high quality, and just let the channel up in 24 hours, and he had just non-stop Super Mario run attempts. And eventually, the fans got so angry at him and went crazy. I'm sending him so many threats that they stopped doing that kind of stuff. But then he is still in his legal rights. But I still think, like, Twitch needs to look into this, because this could be a problem of the future. Because then, at what grounds can you say I can just keep restreaming everybody else's content and not get in trouble? You know what I'm saying? What's going to be the next thing? Oh, can I restream YouTube? Can I restream this or that or something like that, or inside of the game? And then what bounds are you going to draw on the line? You know. People gonna start doing it for
videos all the time. But you know what happens, right?
What?
No, they can't restream. Nintendo.
Well, I know they. Yeah, well, no. If it was Nintendo, within 2 hours they would have had that shit monetization. They would have opened up a program. They would have had applications sitting in. They would have had that shit ready to go. And you would have sent them a fax about inquiring about their Twitch shit. They would have sent you a fax right back. Amy would have been like, "I sent you all the documents and form. Fill them out in triplicate and send them back." I'm telling you, though. Or like when you make a commentary on the commentary of everybody else, I think they're actually going to have to deal with this in the future. They're going to have to, because it's going to get out of hand eventually, because some people are going to try to one-up everything.
I like what you just said, dog.
That shit is hilarious.
I'm going to give commentary of the commentary.
Yeah, like... It just seems like people always want to take an easy way out.
So right now, Debo's talking about...
Yeah.
Exactly. Could you imagine that?
I'm going to get famous off of Debo right now, so that's all I know. I'm going to commentate.
I don't know, but I think it's a big problem. I think they need to deal with it eventually. Outside of that, we'll get towards closing on the League of Legends, and we'll bring up one more topic for this episode. But the big thing about the LCS, I saw some pretty interesting games today. I saw Team Solo Mid, and I will say this: it seems like Team Solo Mid, in terms of North America bracket, they're on another level compared to other teams who are in North America. Or maybe the recent games I've caught by TSM have been played very well. They understand the champion picks. You know what I saw that was so cool? Who's the jungler on Team Solo Mid?
Santorin.
Santorin went around with Dyrus inside the jungle, and they were like jungling together. And then Dyrus.
That's standard for early jungle.
Really?
Because of lane swaps. They do that because of lane swaps.
And they do that so that person can get experience?
They've been doing that for quite a while, yeah. We've actually been doing that for quite a while. Certain top laners, like let's say you run a top lane Scion. A thing to do with top lane Scion, if you're blue side for instance, right, is to take the wolves, die to the wolves, kill them with your passive, hit level 2, go back to base, and then teleport to lane.
Wow.
A lot of people do this with top laners that can jungle really well. They do a jungle camp to get a quick level 2, and then teleport to lane, so they can deal with the 2v1 situation.
Yeah, pretty much. I've seen a lot of, so that's pretty normal, especially with the lane swaps and the 2v1s, right?
I was gonna speak about that. That game was actually very, very sloppy from TSM today. And
really?
If they play like that against CLG tomorrow with the way CLG played today, TSM is going to lose that game, and Red is going to have to take
then if TSM was so bad, then that means the other team must have been really horrible.
Well, they're playing against basically a challenger team. Saint Vicious is a former pro, but he's been out of the top level of play for a really long time. Cop was never great as an AD carry, but he used to play for Curse. He got replaced by Piglet. Bunny Fufu is also another like former support. I can't remember if he played for. I think he was one of the supports actually that had played for Curse at one point. 'Cause I remember one of the seasons, Cop had ran through like 4 different supports in a single season or something like that.
Right.
Before they landed on X Special over at Curse with him. Gravity though is they're Curse Academy basically. They were the second Curse team, and they're all right. They're not great. No one expected Gravity to actually challenge TSM. If you look at what they ran, TSM ran a pick comp. Realistically, they got the chase. They had the chase from the Silver Ult. They had the Zed, the Vi, the Lissandra. They've got all this single target lockdown. I think that Gravity just got outplayed because if you look at comps, realistically, Gravity kind of had the better comp, especially for team fighting. 5v5s. They had Jarvan Braum together is really strong. Maokai, Xerath Graves. You know, you lock up a bunch of people inside a Cataclysm, and I spoke about.
I really did enjoy their diving team comp that they made it. I really did enjoy how they played that.
Did some really good tower dives. The commentators actually spoke about that, about how TSM actually tower dove better than a lot of teams that were trying to do tower dives in today's games. But I think the best composition, the best team comp for today, in my opinion, has to go to Team Curse, to Team Liquid.
Oh well, of course. Team Liquid picked the retarded comp.
Incredible, dude.
They got outpicked.
This is what they
outpicked everybody else.
And Team 8 is supposed to be like they always play this like off the wall stuff, and just like really, really crazy, right? So Liquid, and I remember a little bit about this draft phase. Liquid picks Jarvan very, very early. Jarvan was the second pick. So Maple Street, and I can't remember who actually picked, but they locked it in for Maple Street. They picked Draven after Jarvan has already been picked. Now I'm going to talk about this for a second. And I don't know who out there plays AD carry and who thinks that it's okay to play Draven into a Jarvan. I'm going to tell you right now you're wrong, and there's no instance to ever pick Draven into a Jarvan or any type of AD carry
I'll
who
say
does not
this.
have a dash.
It's the League of Draven, and Draven can do magical things. Draven can overcome any adversity because he is legal.
Can he reset his flash cooldown? Can that nigga hop over walls?
Look, I'm totally agreeing with you. They could have picked a lot of better stuff, and if they would have picked Draven, they should have picked a... No. He should have, they should have picked the Ezreal or somebody else who has escape.
Ez, Illusion, Graves. I think Graves, I don't know if Graves, actually, let me look to see if Graves was banned. Graves was not banned. Corki was banned. Graves was actually picked. No, wait, this is a different game. Hold on, where am I?
Yeah, of course Corki was banned. Corki got good escape.
Graves was
or
banned.
even Tristana. Tristana would have worked well. Tristana wasn't banned, I believe.
Trist was not banned. Trist was available. You are absolutely right. And Trist is a hyper carry, and she's a hyper carry with mobility. Tristana would have been amazing.
If they pick Jarvan, I automatically tell people you want to play people with disengage.
Carry that's mobile. You cannot play Draven. You cannot play Jinx. You want to pick a Kalista if she's available.
Can Kate go over the wall with her little trapper now?
Caitlyn is a good pick as well. Ezreal, anyone with the dash, Corki. Anybody with the dash, you have to pick that against a Jarvan. You cannot take someone who does not have a dash against a Jarvan. Even if you have a Morgana, I don't care how good you think your peel is from your team is going to be. And they didn't even have a great peeling team. They ran Maokai, Rek'Sai, Thresh.
Can Janna knock Draven or Jarvan out of the...
Yes, but Janna was banned.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Janna was banned. And what's funny is Janna was banned by the team who picked the Draven. If you're gonna pick an immobile
really
AD,
silly.
like I feel like something had to go wrong in their draft phase because there's no way it's like I'm gonna pick probably one of the least safe AD carries. It's not about Ian Jarvan out of his combo. His combo ain't got shit to do with it. Jarvan doesn't need to engage you with his combo. All right.
No, he just needs to land his ult.
Hold on. I'm Jarvan, right? I'm walking into the lane. Oh, hey, Draven has no flash. Okay, really? Cool. All right. I'm coming from the back. Here I am. Can you engage? Because, by the way, we're only talking about the Jarvan. There was a Leona in this comp as well. They faced the Leona Graves lane with fucking Draven Thresh. Yes, you can knock the Zenith Blade out with Stand Aside and with the Flay, right? But that's not the problem. How do you stop a solar flare from landing on you? You can't dash. You have a flash. That's it. It's his only escape. That's his no. You cannot. The Draven E cannot stop the Jarvan ult. You can't knock Jarvan out of his ult.
No.
It stops the flag and drag. You cannot knock Jarvan out of his ult with anything. He's gonna jump on you. It's unstoppable.
That stops everything.
Yeah, it just instantly goes in.
And when
there's not much you can do about
he
it.
jumps on you as Draven, guess what happens? You have no flash. Hey man, how you doing, Draven? Not too bad.
I remember when I was watching that match. It's just
not too much, man. You know you're about to die, right?
And I know even like when KG's been going through a lot of that in his ranked matches. KG gets real frustrated because people don't think about the team comps and how to deal with what they're going
Sunglasses
against.
stop. Sunglasses reduce 1 damage. 1 damage. He can get strong and kill everybody in the pit. Listen, I don't care how strong Graves gets, he's always going to be squishy. And when you get locked up by a solar flare, and I can't remember
I will
what her
say
Q
this,
is
Graves
called,
has a lot more survivability. Well, actually, I can't say that because
Graves
other
don't
AD
even
carries
gotta
have,
come close.
they can get
Graves
out
is
of it
like
and
a
stuff
bruiser
like that.
AD, and he also has a dash, by the way, even though he's short-ranged.
But
Graves don't even have to be in there. All he has to do is dash forward, Q, R. You dead. Peace out, Draven.
That's true.
I just got so many goblins.
Leona
We killed them
Jarvan,
all.
I don't know anybody who's been playing League for a while, you know how deadly Leona Jarvan is because they used to run it as a kill lane in a bot lane.
Yeah.
Afro Mu used to do that with somebody. Like him and Darius, I think, had a stream where they ran it. They called it Kareem and something. Like they just were running around dunking people.
My big thing is just though, it's just that it's very sad,
hold on.
at these high levels.
The rest of that comp, there was a rumble in there for good measure. That comp was amazing, dude. It's so good.
Well,
why would you let a team get that?
I just don't
Graves,
understand
Leona,
that. Like,
Jarvan, rumble.
and this is why it kind of plays back to what I say. North America is not going to take any type of championships, or EU are going to take any championships.
They will if they get
because,
that comp.
My big thing is the Koreans will never let them have a comp like that. Or if the Koreans say like,
right.
"Hey,
right.
this dude is doing this kind of stuff,"
Wait a minute.
Jarvan, Leona, Rumble.
No,
I mean, let's be honest. If the Koreans saw like, oh, you and Jarvan, you know the Koreans are gonna play, or Chinese are gonna play Ezreal, or they're gonna play Tristana. They're not gonna let you. They're gonna play something to counteract what you do, or they're not gonna let you get in the first place.
They're not gonna ban Janna and not ban Jarvan.
You know, that's true.
They're not gonna ban Janna and not ban Jarvan.
But I mean, it's just sad because these players are supposed to be challenger, and they're making these mistakes at the champion select. They got outpicked.
Liquid had the best team comp of the day, but the best team fight of the day has to go to CLG. For anybody who saw the CLG game, and me and you, Debo, we were talking about that one specific fight near Baron in that brush when CLG had the whole team walk into a brush that had a ward on it. They didn't know it was warded. They didn't sweep the brush. They got engaged on with the Callista ult from Thresh going in, knocked them up. Rek'Sai comes in, knocks up as well. So you have a double knock-up in this situation, but Jarvan gets his ult off. The only person from CLG who dies in this situation is Link.
Yep.
And Double Lift is on the outside of the Cataclysm, untouched, full health, Rocket Stance Jinx, all these people are grouped up. He is murdering them with this damage, and somehow CLG just crushes this fight, and they go 4 for 1. It was amazing. I think the only person who survived was Callista. They took a Baron off that fight.
Yeah, they did. They actually.
I don't think no. You know what? Yeah, Chris got turned on. Double Lift has turned him and lit his ass up. You Aurelia, you're not even tanky because he rushed Trinity Force first.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't have enough damage to burst down Double Lift.
It's
Plus,
just,
I think because they ran a Morgana, right? So he was more than likely black shielded, which means you can't slow Double Lift, you can't stun him. He's just gonna get free minigun damage on you, and when you die, he's gonna kill the rest of your team.
My big thing is just to the point that it's just, I don't understand how these types of things, these basic level of mechanics are not being accomplishment in tournament play. They're just not taking the game. Because when I watch a lot of the Korean type of matches, and This goes for other games I watched. In StarCraft matches, you can look at a certain game between like Korean players or real high level players and the discipline and how they do things and the repetitiveness of how they just work on the basic mechanics of shit. You don't see that kind of stuff happen. I don't know why I keep watching this in LCS or North America and EU, and I see this. Because I was astonished. I'm like, they didn't sweep that bush. You see, even me when I play, I'm not challenger, I'm not perfect, but you know I always sweep and clear.
You don't stack your whole team into a brush that you didn't sweep.
That's what I don't understand.
Really
and these are supposed to be teams...
You don't stack your whole team into a brush that you didn't sweep.
These are supposed to be teams that, you know...
But luckily they won the fight. But yeah, that was bad. It could have been horrible. That engage was amazing. I guess they just didn't have the damage to really you know, kill anybody behind it. Because if they had like more of a heavier AOE comp with that double knock up engage, they probably would have won that fight instantly. Like if there was an Annie in that situation instead of a Thresh, that would have been a one-team fight by Coast.
Oh, side note as well, Rek'Sai hasn't had the biggest impact like I thought it would inside the team leagues on LCS because it seems like a lot of players just either don't know how to play Rek'Sai or just in general, maybe it's not that big as a threat as people think.
It works for certain people, and the comp you have to build around it. Rek'Sai is a huge threat. Mm-hmm. She's got some really good counter gank potential and stuff like that, and just her mobility and her map control is top notch, and that's pretty much how you play Rek'Sai. But you just have to build the right comp around her. But yeah, man, that up until that point though, up until the mid game, which I knew that Coast wasn't gonna win that game. You're talking about a seasoned CLG game, CLG team versus a really sort of brand new roster for this Coast team. Nobody expected Coast to beat CLG, but Coast was actually handling them in the early game. CLG lost that early game for sure, but they came back in the mid game and into the late and pulled in the win just by being veteran players, pretty much having more experience.
The way I feel just in general, it's just going to be really unfortunate for me to go back to watching this high level Korean Chinese play compared to what we're doing now.
What if that walking onto a ward was a trap? What if they baited that? What if that was on purpose? That's next level.
Yeah, next level feeding. Like they lost. Yeah, that's
they lost one person. Only Link died. Only Nidalee died. He didn't get to do anything.
Maybe they just felt confident.
Got a bunch of people grouped up into the Jarvan ult to die from splash damage from his rockets.
I guess if you want to think that way. I just think it's
straight up though. What if that was on purpose?
I don't think it's
next level shit.
I don't think it's on purpose. I just think what I've been watching in the LCS for NA and EU as compared to the Korean and Chinese one, it's just
Korean
a lot of sloppy
right
stuff.
now is not impressive. Like the guy said, only the GE Tigers. Like GE Tigers are dominating OGN right now, and just like it is probably the weakest that Korea has ever been.
Well, I mean, you got to keep in mind a lot of the Koreans went to China and stuff like that. But just for in general, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be in Worlds. But I still think even their basic regular games are not great, are still better higher level games than we have in North America.
We have a long way to go. We have all the way up until October. This is February. We have, 8 months?
Yeah.
8 months to go for Worlds. So we've got a couple of splits. Yeah, I looked at the players that were on the. It's like they're remnants of Najin, like Najin Sword or Najin Shield, one of those teams. I know Gorilla. It was a Gorilla Kane. I think they were both Najin players. Smeb, I can't remember if he was a Najin player or not, but yeah.
I don't know.
But right
I
now,
just can't. At the end of the season, there will either be a Chinese or Korean team or a mixture of the two that pretty much dominate the tournament and smash everybody.
Honestly, Debo. Season 5, this is probably the one season that it's too early to call. It really is.
I don't know.
With the change,
the last
the overall
3
changes
seasons
to the game,
have been kind of conclusive.
Hey, the last 2 seasons have been teams like SKT, Samsung White. No one could touch them. It didn't have anything to do with Korea. Like, no one could touch those particular teams in the seasons that they won.
Well, where did they reside from, though?
SKT was a Korean team. Yeah. Samsung was a Korean team. Yeah. But guess what? Samsung ain't Samsung no more.
And it's the players and stuff, but they also have a good organization and they know how to train these winning teams. Now, I just don't think they have the discipline in their mechanical play.
And last year's Worlds was probably one of the most competitive it's ever been, as far as everybody sort of being on somewhat of a level playing field. The Samsung teams were just worlds ahead of everybody, and that's why Samsung White handled everybody they faced, including Samsung Blue. You know what I'm saying? Like, if their sister team, which did what they did to C9, did that, had that happen to them, it's too early to call. I think the West actually right now I really think the West actually has a good shot of winning their first Worlds after season 1.
I don't think so.
Because EU won season 1.
I think it's going to be like the typical thing, like history has always taught us, and it's just going to be the same thing that the teams
I can say this:
away.
I don't think Korea's going to win.
If it's not Korea, it's going to be China.
If it's not going to be Korea, it's going to be China, and it's going to be a Chinese team with a bunch of Koreans on it.
And that's how it works.
But I honestly think that we're probably going to see an NA team or an EU team in the finals at Worlds this year. And you can hold me to this. I'm going to keep watching.
Right.
You can hold me to this. I truly believe, unless some like crazy roster changes happen throughout the year and some insane shit happens, I really feel like it's going to be an NA or an EU team in the finals at Worlds this year. It would be fucking the dream if it was NA versus EU Season 5 finals.
That's very true. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I think that would shock the world, man. That would shock everybody.
I don't think that's going to happen because, like I said, the people used to say the same thing in StarCraft for years, and I've always seen the Koreans dominating anything they kind of
I don't think StarCraft has ever gone through this type of upheaval, though. The type of upheaval that League has done with Riot changing the game the way they did.
Yes and no, but that is true.
With an entire region being changed. Like, you didn't see a mass exodus of Korean players leaving Korea for China and StarCraft.
My big thing is it's like at BlizzCon when 16 of the players and all 16 are Korean. I just think, like I said, it's their method of play, it's their mentality of how they handle things and how they treat and do things.
Brazil
they
versus
just have
Korea.
a lot more. They have a lot more. How do you say discipline in their mechanics and how they were raised? And
man,
stuff like that.
I truly agree with you and I understand, but I think the West is getting better. They're getting more
I think
serious
they're
about
getting
it.
better and they are getting serious. But like I just said, I just think I don't see. I mean, I could believe more that EU could take it. Like if EU could take it, I remember the days of Moscow 5. I haven't said that name in forever.
Yeah, they are so bad now. Gambit. They're not doing too.
But
well.
Just in general, I could see an EU team done it because I could see them. But like for the most part, I just can't see it, man.
Hey, I think CLG, C9, TSM probably be the 3 teams representing North America at Worlds this year. And yeah, I think that either one of them, if they go there and they play their game, they'll play well. They'll do well, each one.
Okay.
They have a good shot of competing on the world stage this year. I think that competitive League has been, as globally, it's been as competitive as it has been. But here's the thing, right? Like I said, we're going to get our chance to see for Season 5, we're going to get our chance to see the first international competition with this IEM that's coming up in Katowice.
I call
that's
it.
Gonna,
I think North America EU are going to get stomped pretty badly.
GE Tigers are going to be there. I'm not sure what Chinese team is going to be there. Let me see. IEM. Let me look it up.
Isn't Team MRN? What is that for? Isn't
Marn.
Marn is owned by that one guy, right? Who's a fighting game community?
It was Marn's team.
Aren't they doing terrible?
They're not together anymore.
Okay.
Like they disbanded after some. I think, did they beat TSM? I don't know. They might have.
I don't know, man. I mean,
that was funny though. But where is it? I'm trying to see StarCraft 2 players. Where are the league? Like, well, they haven't locked in the league teams yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Oh, March 12th to 15th. So in a few weeks, like 4 weeks or so.
How much is the prize pool? Did they list it?
I don't know. I'm not even looking at that. Let me see. I'm trying to see it.
Prize pool has to at least be about 25,000, 30,000 for first minimum, at least.
Where's the league teams at, bitch? Your page sucks. Make it work.
Their site never works.
Calm that shit down, cuz.
Hold on. Okay. Let me see who's already qualified. Okay, so already qualified. This is they're gonna invite the #1 team in Korea, which is probably gonna be actually. So yeah, the #1 team as of today, as of yesterday, the 14th, which was GE Tigers, I believe. They're going. They're gonna be there. #1 team in the European LCS as of the end of next week. As well as the #1 NA LCS team as of the end of next week, which will be the 23rd, 20th and the 23rd.
So probably CLG or TSM, right?
Yeah, most likely it'll be TLG or TSM. SK likely is going to be the team representing Europe. SK is looking really good right now. World Elite's going to be there from China. C9's going to be there. Gambit's going to be there from Europe because they qualified in Cologne from winning Cologne last year, I think. What are the Flash Wolves? YOE Flash Wolves. I guess that's a Garena or Southeast Asian team. I don't know what that team is. It could be a Korean team. I don't know. GE Tigers, and then the EU LCS team and the NA LCS team, which have yet to be determined.
How's SK Gaming been doing? I see like a lot of things
really
about their AD carry or something like that. The guy who was balding a little bit.
Forgiven?
Yeah, Forgiven. He's been featured in a lot of stuff, so I figure he must be playing really good. Any person or AD carry he's famous for playing for that's worth mentioning? Or does he just kind of play them all good?
I don't know. I think Forgiven is just really good. And he's just doing really, really well. I don't think he has like a standout AD that he plays or anything. He just, I don't know, he can play them all, I guess.
Didn't Ocelot retire?
Because Ocelot went away ages ago, man, to stream from a mansion, and he actually had a team for a minute, and like, yeah, I don't know. He's out of the scene now, though. Okay. As far as I know, he's out of the scene. Yeah. He hasn't been associated with SK for a really long time.
A lot of these league teams, man, are certain players and stuff shifting around, getting in and out of it. But I guess that's just how the course of time goes. This guy.
But yeah,
feel the wrath of retard.
That's gonna be the first tournament, international tournament of season 5.
What day does this go down on?
It's where we're gonna see March 12th to the 14th.
Okay, that's gonna be
either March 12th to the 14th or March 12th to the 15th. So it's gonna be towards the beginning of spring. It's next month. It's about a month away now. So we got about 4 weeks before we see.
How do you guys feel about all these betting sites that pop up for betting on League of Legends?
For esports now?
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad.
I don't know. I'm not a gambling person, so
I haven't seen that. It's like they
well, you know, Counter-Strike CS:GO actually got into a lot of big trouble because we were talking about this earlier. Me and Savage and some other stuff, but basically. A person they were actually throwing matches for thousands of dollars for the betting site that was betting upon Counter-Strike. But once Valve came out and they found out about it, they permanently banned those people and fired.
Oh, was that Counter-Strike? The match fixing shit?
They lost their sponsor. They got permanently banned from the Counter-Strike community, and Valve just has no place with them. They basically excommunicated, did everything possible so that they can't do that anymore. But, I mean, do you think that's going to start sifting over into League maybe, or things like that are happening already?
I feel like it could probably already happen. We don't know.
Because, I mean, I can't believe they're having betting sites on esports games that are so affected by these players, because you could easily whisper into these players who are not making that kind of money, hey, I'll give you a couple thousand if you throw your lane, and then that person can end up throwing. And because it's happened in StarCraft, it's happened in Counter-Strike. I think it's only a matter of time before League of Legends goes through its own problems and stuff like that when you have some teams start throwing. Because, I mean, that seems to be like the next big thing.
League has been around long enough. Who says it's not happening?
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
League ain't new now.
But
who says it doesn't happen in normals?
And this guy.
But
I mean, like, for the most part, there's no way that Riot could stop a site that wants to gamble on League of Legends matches. There's nothing they can do about it. And, you know, the only thing they can say is if a player gets caught, they'll lose all the rights to their team. They'll get kicked off the team. They won't be allowed to play in LCS and all that different stuff like that. And they might lose some sponsors.
Oh, Riot's not going to play that shit, man. They find out motherfuckers are match fixing.
They'll probably permanently. They probably wouldn't even let you allow you to play their game anymore. They probably would not only ban
they took a win away from
like
Curse or something back when them and Dignitas. They did something and they did some crap about collusion at one of the major events. They end up playing like they agreed to play one of the games as an ARAM and stuff like that. Like it was something going on with that situation, and yeah, they
nipped it in the bud very promptly.
This was before they were fining people and stuff, but like they punished them, and I don't remember who was the winner. It was either Dignitas or Curse, but whoever it was got their win taken away.
Some types of tournaments, like depending on how things are, it's beneficial to actually, even outside the gambling aspect, to let another team win because the positioning of how things work and allow you to get ahead in the standings. If you let another team, do it, take a loss or make sure that in your round robin format type of tournament, like you make sure that you maybe take a loss here, you win here, so you can make it so that you can easily advance on and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be interesting because I'm waiting for that to actually happen in League, and this might actually come up in future conversations, but it seems like League hasn't been affected by any of that or any type of really, I don't know what you can classify as the most like dramatic or unethical thing that's happened in League. It just hasn't happened yet.
Maybe because they have too much to lose.
I think especially in League because the money is so good, I don't think players are going to be so willing to do that.
But like when most of these people have a nice Twitch following and you get like, man, fuck
greed.
I'm in promos. I'll PayPal you $5 to lose this match.
Yeah, pretty much.
Throw my lane in solo queue.
Oh, that already happened. Somebody said IPL. I remember that Quantic won the IPL because of the match fixing between them.
Yeah.
And all that different kind of stuff.
Enemies rest in peace.
This guy. Anyways, if you guys have any other subjects you guys want to talk about, I think that was a pretty good discussion. Even though it was mostly League of Legends, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on right now in poppin'. I can't talk about Diablo fans or Diablo 3 yet because I got to give these niggas enough time to get out their exploits because, they don't put out their exploits the first day.
We talking about D3 next week.
Yeah.
I won't have much. Well, I'll be able to contribute just because I have an opinion on people.
All you guys are gonna see me is just screaming and talking and yelling and stuff, talking shit about Blizzard. Y'all gonna see me. I'm gonna be heated to the point where y'all gonna tell me to calm down.
We'll be talking about D3 next week. We'll be talking about more League as well. Because
League is the most interesting going on. League is very interesting. World of Warcraft, there's not much going on. Exactly.
Well, actually, I forgot to cover the WoW crap, but whatever.
Does feeding count as fixing the game? Yes, it does count as fixing the game. Somebody
if
said
you're doing it because
for money.
Somebody paid you off.
Hey, can you imagine somebody feeds and then you come up to that person, you slip a Snicker bars into their pocket and be like, there you go.
Slip them a Snickers bar. The only thing I have to say
when you're hungry.
about WoW,
hey, what's up, Media Crew?
Don't play WoW. I know Hobbit does and everything, but a lot of guilds are already. Mythic just opened up Tuesday for the new raid, and
how's that going?
Well, 8 guilds are already 8 out of 10.
What's the last 2 bosses that are causing problems?
It looks like it is Blast Furnace and the final boss Black Hand, and it's. I don't think they're working on Black Hand. It looks to me also that Blizzard did that whole non-linear thing again. So it is still actually, it is still possible to go in and kill the last boss without having killed all of the other bosses. Like you can skip some of the bosses and still there's a way you can open the door to Black Hand's room and actually get in and attempt him while still having other bosses open to kill.
Right.
But Black Hand, as far as I understand, is actually a really, really respectable fight, and probably even crazier on Mythic. So
a respectable fight, and actually it challenges the players, and they actually requires good teamwork. That kind of respectable.
Well, there have been a lot of the fights that we have done that have actually been really sort of cool. I like BlackRock Foundry, to be honest. I do. We're still
a lot better than the initial raid.
Well, there's more bosses, but yeah, the fights are more interesting, actually. Gorger.
How about the whole, the artistic work, the dungeon, the lore, the trash mobs, the whole package as a raid? Is it pretty solid, well thought out?
It's just a...
Somebody just said there's no way to kill the last boss without clearing every wing or something.
I don't know. From my understanding, you can actually open the door to Black Hand's room without killing everything.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we're gonna have to see how that's going. You said
Some
now,
of the
what day did
bosses,
this
from
come
what
out
I
with
understand,
Savius?
are optional. This was just this past Tuesday.
This past Tuesday. Today is Saturday. So
Within
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So about 4 days right now.
Within the first day, I think people were either 5 or 10. They were 5 of 10 within the first day, so they had half the raid done on the hardest difficulty. Now, one of the issues could also be with how long it took for Blizzard to release this raid. Likely, if it was released at the same time as High Mall was, the progression wouldn't be anywhere near what it is right now. Simply because a lot of guilds with the time distance were really well geared from Mythic High Mall. There's a lot of people out there with like 680 something, 690 item levels and stuff from farming Mythic High Mall and having Mythic Warforged gear and stuff like that.
Right.
The highest, the Mythic gear in Blackrock Foundry is 695. Mythic Blackrock Foundry is tuned for 680 because that's the gear level of Heroic Blackrock Foundry, and you have to be able to do Mythic with full Heroic Blackrock Foundry gear. But Mythic High Mall gear can roll up to 691, which means there are people who could have an average item level of like 685 or higher, and who probably do. Like one of my guildmates at 680, which again is not about the average item level, but you've got people with a bunch of 691 gear out there, so they kind of over geared a lot of the stuff. Okay, so so you have to do Blast Furnace to gain access to Black Hand. But
now, Blast Furnace, that doesn't sound like a Pacific boss. That sounds like an event kind of raid.
Yeah, that's how it's set up. You kind of have to go through this process. The Blast Furnace, I haven't done that yet. That's one of the fights we have left as well. But it's like there's a bunch of ads, and you split your raid group up, and you have to go through stages to end up killing this thing called the Heart of the Mountain or something like that. It's this big like fire.
Okay.
Big like fire elemental that powers the Blast Furnace and everything.
But
as far as the artwork goes, it's a big sort of fire and lava and stuff like that. So it's not a beautiful raid. But I don't appreciate shit like that. I don't care.
You just want the raid counter to be memorable and actually take some skill to beat it out.
Hey, the raid could look like it could have a background from Super Mario World 2 and shit and be drawn in crayon. I don't care. My character could be a stick figure. I just want to fight bosses. That's it.
Oh, well, there you go.
My nigga, yeah.
Anybody's...
I can talk about the news
The
and Marvel
stick figure
Heroes.
has appeared.
We're not going to talk about Marvel's Heroes. Marvel made a dancing Spider-Man, and now they're thinking about making another Spider-Man. I'm done with Marvel shit.
Oh, you're talking about Spider-Man.
And they're making another fucking Fantastic. Marvel doesn't know what the fuck they want to do.
Didn't they come to a deal? Spider-Man can be in Avengers now or something like that?
Yeah. No, they're giving the right. I think they're giving the rights for something like that. I don't know. All I know is they pushed back Black Panther movie.
Or was it another hero that can finally come over and be a part of the event? I'm pretty sure it was Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man, but I don't care because they're pushing back the Black Panther
Spider-Man
movie
sucks.
for this. Don't push it back.
2017.
Black Panther. See, the black man's getting fucked over again, but we'll save that for another podcast.
This guy, anyway.
Yeah, man. Them train tracks. That's a good fight, man. I like that train boss.
Anywho,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That train boss had one of the funniest.
he's so random right now.
Yeah, it's one of the funniest M-range timers ever. If you actually hit the 8-minute and 30-second M-range timer on that fight, trains come down all 4 tracks and they just run over your whole raid and everybody dies.
It does sound like an interesting fight.
What should I be doing, man?
It's a fair amount of movement involved into it, but once you get the pattern down, it's actually pretty easy. But it is a pretty fun fight. And when people get hit by trains, it may be frustrating, but it's also very funny because they get like thrown halfway across the room.
Well, that's just how it goes. They shouldn't be bad and get hit by trains in the first case. But anyways, we're going to conclude
I got hit by like 12 trains.
We're going to go ahead and conclude this episode of Debo's and Friends, episode 4. We'll be back on next week talking about Diablo and some other different subjects. As always, appreciate you guys watching and tuning in for it. I'm going to continue to stream, but like I said, this little podcast we put every week talking about different gaming subjects and what's going on in the world, usually World of Warcraft, Diablo, and League of Legends, and sometimes other games and stuff.
How long was that, man?
About an hour and a half, 2 hours.
That was an hour and a half only. Now I thought that shit was like 2.5 hours. I'm like, man, this shit is long as fuck.
Outside of that, as we always tradition before we leave, KG, do you have any words for the people before we leave? Is he even there?
I don't know, man.
Nigga passed out.
He's probably laying down. Anyways, as always, man, appreciate you guys watching the stream, and we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
Ooh. Nigga thinks he's a black ghost.
Nigga.
Stream's not over.
That's
Look,
how we do it in Kingsport.
it's just too late. You suck.
I mean, the thing is, I'm just happy that I was able to be